then more guys will be joining in. Will find us on the way. So, Christine, let this be interactive. And please, in case I'm pronouncing your name not right, just let me know so that I should get the better way of pronouncing it. First of all, I would love to hear from you. How are you doing? And thank you for subscribing. Yes.
You're welcome, and I'm good. And it's Kristen, like the number 10, Kristen.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Kristen. It's really good. You know, when you get to hear the names from the owners, you become confident and share them out because you know the right pronunciation. But your name is really nice, and it has a lot of art in it. And more to that, just I'm going to start off sharing my screen. First of all, we are going to go through the assignment you sent me before I extend into what we are going to discuss today. Just feel free to share with me some small things about the work, and we shall all be blessed when we discuss this work. Thank you. So let me go on to share. Okay. Yeah, so I received this. I would love to hear from you before I extend in my contribution towards this work. What was the motive behind? What was of interest to you? What was the challenge? What did you find as hard? Yes, then I will extend in my contribution.
This is really the sketch of the original of the next picture, because part of our assignment was to do a sketch. The inspiration behind it was my little sister Shalom. It's actually supposed to be a picture of her in a ballet costume. Yeah. For the body, I did what you asked and used the size of the head to measure out the rest of the body.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mostly it for the sketch. The sketch.
Okay, let me share once again. So this is it.
Yeah,
And what?
this is it.
Okay. So what is interesting? What do you have to say about this work?
Not much. It was very difficult. Wasn't easy. Um, yeah, actually, I don't think I have much to say about it. For the costume, you said that we were supposed to put into detail the way clothes fall, so I added a bit of color because clothes were the priority.
Okay. Wow. Uh, that is really good, and I do appreciate this that you sent in. It is good, to be honest with you, and more to it is what I like, that you went ahead to draw people around you. Yes, some students, when you give them work, they just go very far from home and they go to the internet. Yeah, it is good when you depict things from your environment. So this is a nice work of art, and what I would love to add on to this is that in terms of drapery, yes, you achieved, like we can see the lines, but more to it, would love to see how they show us form. And when I talk about form, is the roundness of the object. Get me? How round is the object? And basically, uh, here we can see the lines, but the way tones are moving, the way your tones are moving is that they are not moving according to the roundness of the object you are drawing, which is very key to us when we are trying to get out. And more to this, which colors we're using. You can see we have some markers and crayons.
I used different types of colors. I used crayons and markers. Yeah, mostly crayons and markers.
Okay. Yeah,
And color
so
pencils.
oh, I see. Now I would do it would I would love us to go on with the starting with one type of material. Yeah, then when we get well versed with one, we may now start blending them in relation to what we are doing. Because the markers are good, but for better results, we often use them in graphics. And for crayons, at our level, we prefer using oil pastels for shading. Crayons, basically, they don't give us that strong brightness of what we're trying to achieve, but it shows, yeah, for crayons. But if we use oil pastels, they give us a vivid look of how objects should be. Yeah, so more to what I can say about this work is that yes, our emphasis was on the drapery. Yeah, but we would love to get more emphasis. As I can see here, the eyes are really good. uh yeah, we shall have a lesson on how we can shade and tone the eye, the face, the body. But more to this, I would really love to see this part shaded, like the hands, because if you call it a final work and we're having some lines that are only lines that are depicting form, it may not be as the way it should be a finished work. So I love the posture itself, and more to this, I love the, yeah, the way you achieved your hair. It is also good, and basically we achieve hair in different ways. So here I can see how you created a rough texture by manipulating your tool. It is really good, and more to this, we see that we can get, sorry, we see that here we have this coming up. So basically about this work, it is really good in terms of composition and posture, but more to it, the materials we use, we should be using one particular material for a particular work of art for now. But in the future there ahead, as we continue having these lessons, you realize that the more we blend materials, the more we get better in how to do it. Then more to this also, yeah, as a finished work of art, we should have the tones of a body. We cannot only stop on the cloth and we call it a finished work of art. And then more to this, what I would say is that basing on our sketch, we had the complete drawing, but here we have only the upper part, which is also good. Yes, it is good. It is good, but in terms of the sketch show us the final work. So if we have a long sketch, fully sketch, and we have here a half of it, it shows that there are some parts that are missed out. But for this, it is a good work of art. I do appreciate your time. More to this, just because of what we have this shared today, I would love us to extend into some of the materials we are going to discuss. So let me stop sharing. You have anything to say about the work? Kristen, you have,
Not, not, not really. I'm going to try and would you like to see the original picture,
yes, it's
the
fine.
drawing? Okay, I'll send it to you.
Okay. That will be good. Yes, that is so. Let me show you again something from the site. Uh, okay, so basically, yes, I know you have now access to this content, and this is some of the units on the website on Yaaka. So this is the course, the senior 3 course, and that's how it is. So all these are content for us to go through, and our discussions, our live classes will be basing on some of these. So I will be extending in the unit you should go through, and you go through it, then we summarize it with a discussion that is going to be happening every Thursday, like right now. So basically, these are some of them, and we have a lot of them here, but I wanted to go through some. Uh, um, I'm still getting through.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes,
I still haven't been able to access any of my courses.
you have not yet accessed any of your courses,
No, none of them are opening.
but okay, let me. You see, if I go here, manage courses, in the courses, and I see that you are attached to them. Let me say senior 3. You see, this shows me that you are attached to them. Have you seen?
Maybe, but when I go to the Yaaka site and I log into my account, I don't see anything.
Uh, okay, that may be a technical team. That may be a technical issue that can be sorted by the technicians of Yaaka. But more to it, what I can say is that maybe you have to refresh the page, and you may get to see this. So for that issue, I'll be extending in what we have to go through. Let me just go back where we. So you go. This is some of the process you go through, and the continue courses. It brings you to some of this. Now, today I wanted to want us to discuss paper mache, and it is really of importance. I don't know if you have a clue about it. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I'm familiar with paper mache.
Okay, so have you ever tried out to work of paper mache?
Yes, when I was younger.
Okay. Wow, you okay? You did it when you were a bit younger. It was in secondary, or
No, it was when I was in yeah. Yeah, three or four.
Okay. Yeah, basically now we tend to bring it back for better and bigger works of art. Good enough you have a clue on it, and it is really of importance for us to get to know more about it. So paper mache, what are some of the things you remember about it even before I extend in what is in the site?
Um, when using paper mache, it's really a mixture of paper, wet paper, and glue. So you mix the two together. You get paper and make it wet until it's soft. And then you drain it and mix it with glue. And then you use it to mold things.
Okay. Yes, that is very true, and you have summarized this content or all about paper mache. So paper mache briefly is for us to get to see how it can be. Sorry about that. It is paper pulp is basically a mixture of paper with water, and you squeeze them. So it is very important that as we try to go through this, we understand that there is a difference between paper pulp and just paper in water. Do you get to see the difference between paper pulp and paper in paper dipped in water?
Uh, Paper pulp is more mushy. It's mushy and torn apart and mixed.
Okay, yes. Yeah, basically paper pulp is you go deep, or after you dip paper in water, some people blend it. Okay, they put it in a blender and you just get that porridge effect of pepper. And that is the process they go through when they are recycling paper to create to recycle them and get new peppers. And basically, more to this with the history is that it was invented in China between 202 before Christ. It is a long time, and 220 AD. And the use of paper pie shape, therefore, dates almost around the same time when Chinese used it to make objects such as trays, box, and the figurines. Uh, so this is simply part of it in terms of history, and a lot of products can be got from paper mache. Uh, Starting from an artwork itself for decoration to works that can be used for home products. Okay, the list is endless. We can create boxes, we can create a wall hanging, we can create a plate, we can create a dustbin, we can create a jewelry box, we can create a lot of products can be produced, just depend on what you want to do at that very time. So it has been used in making different objects such as soldiers' helmet. You see, they use paper mache, whereby they attach a lot of paper. Just creating layers will create a hardy concept. Jewelries, boxes, bowels, trays, sculptures, masks, and other forms of artifacts. In Europe, the use of paper mache reached in peak during the 18th century. In England, paper mache became one of the most important crafts, so much that factories were set up to make products such as trays, tables, cabinets, and the candlesticks, chairs, lamps, bookshelf, wall decoration, screens, bed frames, as well as completing buildings. So you have seen basically paper mache is really big, and it is an industry on its own in art. You can rely on paper mache and you achieve a lot from it. People have gone deep make it their source of living. So one of the reasons why it's good with paper mache, I think you can see on the screen. Can you please just read through us the possibilities of paper mache?
It's cheap, i.e., prepared from waste paper. It's a light material for pots, vases, bowls. Finished products can be painted.
Okay, yeah. Basically, just to summarize, is that it is cheap. If I tell you to create a work of art right now, realize that you have a lot of material to use. It is not like other materials that you have to buy. For example, cement, you'll have to go on town and or in a hardware you buy. But for paper mache, you don't need to buy. Just look for paper that has been used and is no longer in use. It is just wasted. And we are surrounded by documents that have been used, and their use is no more. We are surrounded by newspapers that compile up in offices and homes. So this kind of material can really utilize wasted paper. And as we continue, we shall be seeing. Then it is a light material. In other words, it is not heavy, depending on what you have done. When it dries up, it is light. It is portable, and a finished product can be painted. When it is dry, you can paint it the way you want, and you create good effects on a work of art, on the what you have created, a mask or a tray or a cup or whatever you create. It can be painted because paper attached with painting. Then also, can you please go through the limitations? One of the things that are not good about this, that may hinder good works. Yes. Oh, unfortunately, we lost Kristen, but I'll continue with the lesson. Let us just wait for her in a few minutes, and we see. More to this, I will be continuing for the sake of those who are following us on YouTube. Uh, yes, basically the limitation we have, one of the limitations we have is that it requires a long preparation process. Yes, however much it is good and cheap, we may have to go through a long process, and that basically is due because of how you want to achieve it out. It cannot survive moisture environment in if not painted and varnished. Yes, that's true. But the problem with paper mache is that achieve you cannot achieve it's a you cannot achieve it cannot survive in harsh environments. For example, in the rainy seasons, when it is put outside before it is painted or varnished, it will collapse. Okay, with paper is affected by water. So in a harsh environment like moist environments or rainy areas, it cannot survive. It requires reinforcement for big pieces and areas of tension. Reinforcement basically, we go into to say it is more of a support. And the last one is that the paper pulp cannot be used alone. it needs glue and an armature. Yeah, basically with the paper pulp, I will say is that it cannot be used alone because it is wet. Okay, it is in porridge form. So for us to achieve a work of art from paper pulp, we need an armature, of which an armature we basically go through what we basically create a support. An armature is like a support, the framework inside, the skeleton framework that on which we build the body for a work of art to come out. So with this material, you cannot do it on its own. You just need also supportive materials like wire, like a box, like a template or a mold. For example, if I've decided to do a cup, I will need a cup to help me use it in order to get the shape of that very cup. But if I want to do a cup, I cannot just use paper pulp to create that. More to this, okay, we have techniques, paper techniques in paper mache, and there are two basically there are two of them. We have the stripe method, and this one you can see is all about getting papers and dip them in water, then you add glue on the surface and you keep on adding until they are dry. Then we have paper pulp mache method, of which we have been talking about, is where you get paper and you dip it in water, but more to that, you cut them until you get a porridge form of paper mache. And more to this, these are some of the preparation we go through, that we tear papers into small stripes and soak the stripes in water until it softens. If paper is too hard, boil it in water. Yeah, if the paper you have got they are too hard that it will take 2 days or one day for them to be soaked very well, they recommend boiling them. Then crush paper into pulp using a piece of wood or hand blender. Yeah, so you see, uh depending on how you're going to, if you're not going to use stripes as technique as we said here in the methods, with the other method, with the other alternative we can use is using stripes, using the pulp, whereby you blend it and you do what. Okay, so whereby you blend it and you get to see what is ongoing. More to this, you mix the pulp with glue. You mix the pulp with glue, ready for use. So sorry, I skipped one, and squeeze out the excess water and leave pulp with just enough moisture. So then mix the pulp with glue to use for ready to use. Then design an armature in your preferred material depending on the design material to use, can be clay, wire mesh, etc. So basically an armature is something that will give you the shape of what you want to achieve in paper mache. And I said sometimes it may be supportive, sometimes it may be the real composition or the artwork you are trying to do. And more to this, when you use the clay as your armature, that means it is not going to appear on your work. When your work is dry, you will have to dismantle and remain with the work. Then more to this, we see that when working with paper mache, add one layer at a time and let it to dry before adding another. This is very, very important for us to put into consideration, and it really gives us a go ahead because if you add a lot of layers before they are dry, you will really get disappointed because it will start smelling badly, and also it will not become strong the way if you wait for one layer to get dry. Yeah, so more to this, we have it in this video. Please don't when you go through this content, just do what, just check out this video and it will give you more what is in the content, what more about paper mache. But briefly, that's all about it in paper mache. And here we have the assignments that we are giving us some insights about paper mache. So for those who have subscribed, you have access to these, and please try out this content. I will be checking out for those who have done the assignment, and you shall all be blessed. So for right now, I'm going to stop sharing this, but before that, I have an assignment that has been submitted in right now. Let me just okay. So this is the image you are talking about. It is really good, and yeah, I can see the reason behind the artwork you sent us, and this is a good posture picture, and even the subject in it. So it was well achieved in terms of posture, and I can see the concepts of the lines you are talking about. But more to it, if you zoom this image, okay. So this work is really good, and I will be going through it, and we shall see how it will be. More to this,